Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. Malik is really going to be excited right now. We keep telling you about how Republicans want to screw as many Americans out of their right to vote as possible, using every type of means at their disposal. In Wisconsin and North Carolina, Republicans dominate the legislature there. They pass all kinds of laws to not only hamstring incoming Democratic governors, but to also, again, put on onerous voter restrictions. In Utah, voters voted to expand Medicaid, and the state legislature said, y'all know what the hell y'all doing. We're going to overrule you. In Florida, voters overwhelmingly passed an amendment to the state constitution to allow the formerly incarcerated to vote. Now the Republicans in the legislature, they want to try to keep them from voting by saying you must pay all of your fines. In Michigan, the voters there actually passed a bill to redraw congressional lines. Republicans there said, we know how to do it better, and they're fighting that initiative. Now let's get to Missouri. Last year, folks in that state voted overwhelmingly for ballot measures legalizing medical marijuana and hiking the minimum wage and revamping how districts are drawn, all over the objections of Republicans in the legislature. The state's chief elections officer, Republican Secretary of State Jay Ashcroft, believes the entire process has simply gotten out of hand. As he put it, we're not a democracy, we're a republic. So he and Malik's buddies in the legislature want to limit ballot initiatives in Missouri, the show me state. Joining us now is Congressman Emanuel Cleaver of Kansas City, also former mayor of that city. Congressman, why are they afraid of the people? If the people want to pass a ballot measure, and last I checked, I thought Republicans loved ballot measures when it was affirmative action in California and in Michigan and other states led by Ward Connolly. Now they're saying, y'all don't know what y'all doing.
Well, I think this flipped over in the two terms of President Obama. Many of the legislatures around the country, state legislatures, flipped over. And we woke up when we had Hillary Clinton on the ballot to find out that just right after that election, right after that, we found out that all these legislatures.
2010, 16 yes. Flip. Republicans had 31 governor's mansions.
And that's when they began to exert themselves. And I think it started with this Alex, where all of these companies give money.
Yep.
And folk come together and they plan a strategy for state or nationwide moves by the political party called Republicans. And so what they've done in Missouri, we passed minimum wage, and they don't want to pay. It was $15 is what we passed, and they come back to try to remove not only that, but the whole process of citizen initiatives. And they're making it infinitely more difficult to do that. They're trying to drown democracy. They're trying to reduce democracy, all under the name of democracy. And it's happening everywhere. I think we have about 33 states where legislatures have introduced measures that would in some way dampen the petition initiatives initiated by the people. And, now there is an antidote, and it is for us to do what the people in California did. When they began to pass their initiatives, they made it a requirement that in order for the legislature to overturn it, they had to have a supermajority of the California General Assembly. And in other places, they're saying that the voters have to approve any legislative attempt to overturn the people. But unfortunately, in Missouri, we didn't have anything in place. So we're going to become victims, and it's going to happen over and over again until we take back some of these legislative seats.
Malik, why are y'all scared of the people? Why are y'all scared of the people voting on ballot initiatives in red states?
Well, I don't know that people are afraid of that.
Okay, Malik, would you like for me to repeat?
I don't know.
Would you like for me to repeat, in Utah, a red state where the voters voted overwhelmingly for Medicaid expansion, the Republicans said, oh, y'all don't know what y'all doing, so we're going to ignore you. Let's talk about what happened in, I think it was North Dakota? No, it was in Montana.
North Dakota.
Where the voters passed a rigorous ethics law Republicans said, you know what? We're just going to ignore what in the hell y'all had to do. Same thing. Michigan is actually a pretty red state once you get outside of the large cities. And they said, oh, y'all had this ballot initiative to create a commission to draw districts. We really don't care what y'all think. And then, of course, in Florida, Amendment 4. They want to change that. Those are all red states.
Well, I don't think it has anything to do with necessarily being afraid. As I said before, I think this is something that is purely political.
Right. Politically afraid.
But I've mentioned that this has happened in D.C. as well, where the city council overturned.
You mean being afraid?
Well, you can say that.
But hell, first of all, D.C. not even a state. But that statehood, that's a whole nother issue.
But this studio is in D.C., so we can't discount D.C.
No, I'm not discounting D.C.
Well, I'm just saying, so you can't just say.
But what I'm trying to understand, okay,
it happened here in D.C. My point is
okay, that's like
yes,
1 out of 12.
Well, if
but
we
go
work
ahead.
hard enough, I'm sure we could find something else.
No, actually, you can't find that hard.
But what I will say is that yes, this is politically motivated, as well as the politically motivated effort that's out there now to ban the Electoral College. You know, this is something.
Hold on. First of all, we got very close to actually changing the Electoral College. It fell very short.
Yeah, the Democrats have now.
Now, I hold up. Now, first of all,
because that's politically motivated,
hold up.
Right?
First of all, there's nothing that says you cannot change the United States Constitution, Congressman. And then you give a very perplexed look as Malik was talking.
That's not politically
and
motivated.
I understand.
But
go
that's
ahead.
not politically motivated. What they're talking about, the presidential.
But okay. See, hold up. Congressman, before you speak, Malik, if Congress chooses to change to ban the Electoral College, that is an amendment, which then
that's not politically motivated,
which then has to go to the states, and then the states have to vote. Niambi, by what's the number? Two-thirds of the states must ratify the amendment, which is not easy to do. That is different than Republicans saying we don't want ballot initiatives by the people. Congressman, go ahead.
Well, look, I'm getting a headache because I don't understand when you say it's a political move. Look, the word is discriminatory or exclusionary instead of political. They're trying to keep a certain portion of the population out of the ballot box. They don't want them in there voting. And they've gone to great lengths all over this country trying to keep people from, whether it's voter ID, whatever it is, let's stop them from voting. And if this is a true democracy, I mean, we just had an initiative overturned which would allow people to register on election day. Same day. I mean, they stopped they're stopping in some places souls to the polls because too many black people were voting after church services. So I don't understand that.
Niambi, please go ahead.
But I think a lot of what Congressman Cleaver and others are talking about is how much of our government runs by just, this is pro forma, right? This is just what we do by custom. None of this has to stay this way. So because there were not extra protections placed on the legislature for the people of Missouri to protect their direct ballot initiatives, now you can have the legislature saying, let's revise these processes. Let's make people pay.
And let's be clear that until you had the 1965 Voting Rights Act, you did not have black folks in huge numbers voting. So frankly, for a majority, more than a majority of the country, of this country, black folks could not able to exercise their power. And Republicans actually right now are pissed off that you have black folks and Latinos and other folks who are exercising their power and are using the ballot initiative. And for all of these years, Republicans and conservatives use the ballot initiative in order to change all sorts of things across the country. And now that progressives have woken up and went, damn, we could use the same thing y'all did. Now they want to change the rules to keep the voters, the public, the very people who pay their salaries to keep them from participating in the process.
And I think direct ballot initiatives are one of those things that Republicans love for a very long time.
Oh, a long
for a
time.
really long time. And like you said,
long time.
People not thinking about this as a mechanism to get more of what you want. And now that we've moved, especially for black communities and others, from the federal government to the states and local governments for these kinds of changes, now you have renewed interest in pulling back.
Why they are afraid of the ballot initiatives? Because if you put medical marijuana on the ballot, it's going to drive out young voters and progressives. And so what Republicans don't want is ballot initiatives that's going to drive up turnout That's what they're doing, Cleo and the congressman.
Well, Malik seemed to be apprehensive to the term scared and fearful, even though I think it's an appropriate term. But in your part of the world, isn't Wesley Bell there, and he's the new prosecuting
He's
attorney?
in St. Louis, St. Louis County.
St. Louis. Well, he has fulfilled the fears of white supremacists. He got his position, and he got rid of all the white supremacists who let Darren Wilson off. That's the kind of stuff they're afraid of. That's why I brought it up, because he was their worst nightmare, and he actually executed what I think a lot of them fear. He got rid of the white regime, the racist regime that was destroying black folks and allowing their cops to kill black people. And as soon as he got in the position, he got rid of them, and he used his power.
Congressman.
And I think that's what they're afraid of.
Right, they're afraid of turnout.
And they're afraid of this. 1.4 million former felons in Florida can now vote. This is what they're afraid of. This, if you can answer this question, it solves everything. Why would someone want to stop souls to the polls? Yes, sir. If you can answer that, I think it works everything out.
Well, it's.
That's what I thought.
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean, you're saying that's what you thought. I don't know if you've watched the show before, but I've actually been very outspoken as far as any voter suppression efforts, disagreeing with it. So I don't know what it is.
Sorry, I apologize.
But he felt like you had an answer.
But I'm saying, but there
there is an answer.
Exactly.
There is an answer.
The assumption is because you're on the inside of these nuts.
I'm not on the inside of any nuts anymore than
I'm sorry, that you're in the
inside of any nuts with Democrats.
Let me be less offensive and say because you're in the Republican Party. Okay, I took that back. I apologize for saying it out loud. But the point I'm trying to make is that because you're inside of the Republican Party, the assumption that you're the Republicanologist here and that you can break down why these people be tripping.
Well, you've never got the answer to that question. The number of times that I've been on the show, we've never come to a conclusion other than the fact that this is something that Republicans shouldn't be doing.
Man, we know why they're doing it, though.
But my point is when I was talking about this effort to ban the Electoral College, that is politically motivated. And that's also something I don't agree with.
And also, as Roland said, white folks are fearful of losing power.
Well, I don't think
as their numbers shrink and everybody else grows.
I don't know.
They don't want to be voted out of existence.
I don't think that the people who are pushing this ban the Electoral College I don't think that they're white or they're trying to do white supremacy or whatever it is.
Hold on, please. No. Actually, getting rid of the Electoral College is confronting white supremacy.
Well, no, how is that, Roland?
Because the Electoral College was actually a slavery compromise. That was all. The Electoral College is built on white supremacy.
Well, how is it that, so it's the same Electoral College that elected Barack Obama and the popular vote as well. The idea, this is all coming.
Hold up. One black man out of 45.
But every.
No. First of all, black folks are not sitting here sweating that because Obama also won the popular vote.
Yeah, he did.
The reality No, you're wrong. You're wrong. The reality is, no. Let me correct you. Let me correct you.
Because of Hillary Clinton.
No, the discussion also took place prior to 2016, in 2000, when Al Gore won the popular vote, and then but the Supreme Court decided for George W. Bush. The reality is we've had in America 3 different times where this has happened, and we saw exactly what happened. In each case, you had this split. The bottom line is this here. Now you have people who are saying, wait a minute, why do we have an archaic system of using the Electoral College? Why can't it be popular vote? That's not a Democrat or Republican thing. Yeah. That's a people thing.
No, I think it's totally political.
And let me say it again. Political. The Electoral College was a slavery compromise, built on the back of white supremacy. Niambi, you are a political science professor at Howard University.
Yes. Well, so it can be a both-and proposition. It can be politically motivated and problematic at the same time. And I think when you hear about the way the framers talked about the Electoral College, it was for illiberal means, right? That we don't trust the American public to make a decision, and it overrepresents certain states. Right?
And it was because rich white landowners did not want the people voting and determining leadership. They wanted to maintain who was in power. That was a slavery compromise. I got to ask the congressman this before he goes. Daily Beast is reporting that the Department of Homeland Security is disbanding a group of analysts who focus on domestic terrorism, of course, also white domestic terrorists. Now, of course, you also sit on a committee that deals with this. Just got to get your thoughts on this. I mean, you have all these cases. We have seen a tremendous spike since Trump got elected of white domestic terrorists. case after case. More white domestic terrorists have been killing Americans than Muslims have been killing America. But the Trump administration is like, we can get rid of this.
Well, what it is just like the Trump administration will not allow the CDC to report on gun violence or study gun violence. The same thing is here. They don't want the federal government involved in pointing fingers at the white supremacy groups that are increasing. And that's not coming from me. It's not coming from the CBC. It's coming from third parties who are out keeping up with this every day. And every social scientist in the nation is talking about the surge in white supremacy groups. Not just in the United States, it has now spread all into Europe. It's exploding, and I think it's one of the most dangerous things going on. And we're going to have this. We just had the secretary in front of our committee, chaired by Benny Thompson, who takes no prisoners. I think she's going to come back. She's going to have to explain this, as Ben Carson has to explain why he's dismantling some of the agencies that study fair housing.
All right, Congressman Emanuel Cleaver, I was glad to have you here.
Good to be with you.
Good alpha, man. I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. All right, folks. Back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. All right, y'all. Calling on HBCU alumni, students, and leaders. Enter the Ford Motor Company HBCU Mobility Challenge and win $25,000 for your school. Building on the long-term support of HBCUs, Ford is looking to improve mobility in HBCU communities through innovative solutions. The winning program will receive a grant of $25,000 to implement their proposal. Now, the deadline has been extended to April 15, 2019. Let me help y'all out, okay? I don't understand all you HBCU people, okay? A handful of universities have tried to get the 25 grand. Y'all, here's the website, fgb.life, to apply. It don't cost you no money to apply. You could get 25 grand for your HBCU. Go to the damn website. It's free money. Go to fgb.life for more info and to apply. You can get 25 grand for your HBCU. Go to the site. Ford goes further in our community. We thank them for being a partner of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I'm just saying, okay? We talk about supporting HBCUs. They trying to give 25 grand. I'm just saying, y'all should apply. fgb.life. All right, y'all. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.